Welcome to the Introduction to Humio video series. This is the third in a series of 7 videos aimed at introducing you to Humio log management. This video covers ingesting data into Humio, so let's get started. Humio supports 3 ingest methods: shippers like Vector and FluentD, listeners via TCP or UDP ports, and the Humio APIs. Also supported are ingest tokens. Ingest tokens are per repository tokens that allow you to send data to a specific repository. They are also write-only, meaning that you cannot query Humio or log in or read any data with these tokens. When you send data to Humio for ingestion, it must be parsed for both field and timestamp extractions. A parser takes text as input. The text can be structured text like JSON or CSVs, or unstructured text like syslog or weblogs. We have specific parser functions for JSON and CSVs, as well as regexes for parsing unstructured data. The parsers page has the added feature of being able to test various strings right in the user interface. The Humio query language is extremely powerful in that some of the same functions, namely filter functions, that you use to query data can also be used in parsers. This has some nice capabilities when it comes to working with data that is known to contain sensitive information. In the case of sensitive data, there are at least 3 functions to handle it. One is drop event, which will drop events entirely when detecting the matching case and parsing. Replace will replace the value of a regex with a random string or mask, and hash rewrite will calculate a secure hash field for the field storing the event. I will show you how to do the first 2 of those in this demo. So I have my Humio environment, and I'm using Vector as my shipper. I will start by adding a new repository. And then take one of the built-in parsers and clone it so I can do some stuff with it. And while I'm in here, I will do a little cleanup and put the pipe parse timestamp on a separate line. And there we have it. I'll go back over here and set up a new ingest token. I could use the default, but I'll do a new just to show you how to do it. Create the token, assign the parser to the token, and save it. And we're going to need this token, so I'll copy that when we go into Vector. Here's the Vector configuration file. Notice the data we're pumping in, because I'm going to show you what that data looks like a little later. And I'll go ahead and put the token in here. And I'm going to copy this file so we can show you some things about it. Got 20,000 lines, so any extracting we'll do will be 20,000 minus the extractions. There's also a vector data directory here that has to be empty. It's the working data that Vector keeps track of what it's doing. So that now that we have that, we can just run go over to our search. There we have our 20,000 lines, and I've done a little search here. Notice I have a number of client IPs here. And the max of these should max out at 15, which is 4 sets of 3 and the dots in the middle. I'm going to do a count to pick out my doctored data because I've deliberately polluted this data so we can pretend that's sensitive information that I put in. And notice that the IPs vary in number up to 15, which is a large number, except there's one here that has 39, and more than likely that's my, yep, that's it. So if I go to client here, there it is. So I want to get rid of that thing. And notice there's 200 hits. Just remember that. So we will go into settings and to clean a repository so we can start over. This is sort of how an iterative onboarding process will work. Click data sources and delete that. We will go back to the vector page, clean that off. And now we've got that right. And then we'll go in here into our parsers and we're going to edit this parser. So I've typed it out here. And this will be easier to explain when I paste it into the So what I've done is I'm looking on the raw string, which is the only field that it knows, that Humio knows about before it brings the data in. And I'm going to look for this pattern as a regex and then replace it with this mask. The parser is the same, the parse timestamp is the same, but look also, since Humio allows comments embedded within the search, I've done that to actually clean up my parser a little bit and tell any new visitors that might need this parser what's going on. So we'll save it, and now for 200 of these client IPs, we should have XXX instead of the GUID, hence showing masking. So I'll run my vector again, go to search, go there, and then I'll bring my search in here again. And notice there are 200 and they have the length 16, and we bring them up, we'll see they have XXX for the IP or the client. And that client's that. Now we want to show what happens when you drop the event. So since that was 200 event, when we drop it, it should be 20,000 minus the 200, which is 19,800. Clean out my repository, go back over here to my parser and get ready to edit it. Kill vector, clean out the data. And this is my modified parser that will be configured to drop the events, and I'll explain that when I put it in the parser script box. So here we've got our standard access log parser that we haven't changed any at all. I'm doing a case statement now inside a parser, which I think is extremely powerful, and if it finds this match, it will drop the event. And then I'm doing my parse timestamp as I did before. Go back over here. Run vector. Go back to my search. And notice I've got 19,800 events. If I go back over here and copy that search again, the max is 15. One other thing I want to point out is that since Humio is written in Java and Scala, we use the Java method for time escapes. They are located in the Java documentation. That's it for this video. I thank you for your time and for your interest in Humio, and we hope to see you again in another one of our videos.